Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. So what's the problem really? What is the actual problem stopping you be where you want to be right now? This is a subject that's been coming up a lot recently with clients, excuse me, where we can often assume something is the issue holding us back, when in fact it's something completely different. When I read the intake forms from the lovely ladies who work with me and what they want the subject of their call to be, it's often very quickly becoming clear that what they think is the problem isn't really a problem for them at all, and it's something completely different and often a potentially easy sort, which is what we want, right? But it's so important to work out what it is, or you will stay stuck in that constant loop and not moving forward. So when the problem is run from unconscious programming or thoughts and beliefs, how can you expect to see it unless you're really looking and asking the right questions? You know, it's a fact to you. It's just the way it is for you when it's unconscious. But it very rarely is the case that it's fixed. So we like to label things and label things that we perceive to be wrong, in inverted commas, with us. Reasons or excuses for why we aren't where we want to be yet that are often outside of us. Yeah. So even labeling something a problem makes us feel better because it's something we can attach to. But what if we saw it differently? What if we stopped calling them problems altogether? Even simply changing the language can shift the way we look at it. What if they were just obstacles, or even just questions to be answered? You know, it makes it a little less emotionally charged and gives us some power back, right? One of my favorite words to use personally is quandary. I have a quandary. It sounds totally solvable and weirdly fun. It's a blooming great word. Nothing that requires emotion or labeling as such, just something that requires some lateral thinking to find the way forward. You know, it sounds far less permanent than a problem. Yeah. But this, you know, is all part of the journey to achieving big things in life. We want these things solved now, instant gratification. But unfortunately, the majority of the time, it really doesn't work like that. But it can often be a lot more simple than we think it is. So here is the thing. There are several key problems, so many air quotes, you can't see me, you know, so many problems, several key problems that I see time and time again. And often it can be just a tweak in thinking that's required to get you moving again. So first up, I have a problem with my strategy. Yeah. So we can often think we have a strategy problem where we can get stuck in a loop trying to find the way to start making things happen. And this is where good old shiny object syndrome can set in and keeps us in a perceptual loop of looking for that one thing that's actually going to work for us. But actually, we end up jumping from strategy to strategy and not actually implementing anything for long enough to let it work. Yeah, sometimes it is a strategy problem, but you guessed it, often it's really not a strategy problem at all. You can know all the things, but you're still not doing them. And then that's not a strategy problem. So what is it then? This is where the mindset piece comes in and needing to work out why you aren't doing the things that you already know how to do. You know, what unconscious programming, thoughts and beliefs are actually stopping you from taking action? What is it that is really holding you back? So this could actually be a mindset problem masquerading as a strategy problem, you see? And then next up, we have the I have a mindset problem. So procrastinating, stuck in overwhelm, not taking action because there's just too many things, leaving you frozen and crippled with a lack of confidence and self-doubt. But do you really have a mindset problem? Maybe you do. Or could it potentially be some simple tweaks to your productivity that will get you out of that overwhelm, procrastination, and I don't have time zone? The amount of times that I have people booking in with me about a money mindset issue or overwhelm or procrastination, and in an hour, we've gone through some game-changing and simple productivity tweaks that have just given them hours back in their day. And you see the weight visibly lift. But I also get to see that light bulb of confidence and belief in themselves, and that oomph that they had before that they thought had gone. I get to see it visibly return. Yeah, just with some simple tweaks. You don't know what you don't know at the end of the day, right? And if you don't look for a better way, how can you know there is one? So here we have the productivity problem masquerading as a mindset problem. Sheesh, this stuff is confusing, right? So next up, we have the I have a mindset problem, and I'm always busy and tired and feeling down and I don't know what's wrong with me. Now, the first very important thing to be said here on this one is that it is always a good idea to speak to your GP and or therapist, counselor, whoever you work with, to make sure that there's nothing else more sinister going on, because looking after your mental health is so important and is always worth speaking to a professional who can help and check that the necessary things that need to be checked. But on the subject of this one, when you think there's a mindset problem and you're always feeling tired and unproductive, could it be a tweak in lifestyle that could be of benefit and be the difference that makes the difference? Yeah. So the reason I talk about this one is this has certainly been the case for me in the past. And if I start to feel a little off and really can't put my finger on why, and my usual mindset jiggery pokery just isn't cutting it, then I have a look at a few key things that make a huge difference for me. So I have to be clear that I am not a mental health professional. So this is just for me and something to think about for you. So are you getting enough sleep? Simple. Sleep is so important for your mindset and your health as a whole. And it is very easily deprioritized, especially by people who advocate the hustle mentality to entrepreneurship. You know, I have a hard and fast rule of 8 hours sleep. Considering everything I do, people don't believe me when I say this, but it's true. I am religious. Whatever time I'm getting up, I know I'm going to bed and being asleep 8 hours before. You know, if it's really not possible for whatever reason, then I feel it, you know, in my productivity levels, but also in my mood and my memory and my ability to string a sentence together. So that's one thing to think about. Next one is, are you prioritizing self-care? You can't pour from an empty cup. And as business owners, it's really easy for this stuff to get overlooked. Again, especially if you're operating from that hustle mentality. So what can you do to make sure that you're looking after yourself and making sure that you take the time to actually relax, regroup, you know, allow yourself to actually have some time for you? And again, if I notice a dip in my mood and I really can't work out why, then I'll ask myself this question. And then I will go and run a bubble bath and take my meditation apps with me for an hour. I will make time for it because it's so important and so underestimated. So what is self-care for you? This could be anything. It could be an exercise class. It could be yoga, anything. You know, that's another thing to think about. Are you exercising enough? Are you moving enough? Even if it's just walking, it has such a profound effect on your mood. It's crazy. The next one, are you drinking enough water? It sounds so simple, but it has a huge effect on mood, memory, focus, tons and tons of other things. It's really not to be ignored. Now, what can you do to make it easy on yourself, to make sure you're drinking enough? I've got one of those big bottles, and then I always know where I'm at for the day. And I know I try to get through to minimum 2, if not 3 of those. And then the next one, you guessed it. Are you eating a good balanced diet? Or reaching for the junk because it's easier and it's 10 p.m. and you forgot to eat. So this is my battle, and it has been since I was about 14 years old, and something that I'm constantly working on. Yeah, but I know my triggers, and I also know how much of an effect what I eat has on my productivity and my mood. And if I have a big lunch, then the afternoon, or if it's carb heavy, then in the afternoon it's pretty much a write-off in terms of getting stuff done. However, I also know that if I have a light lunch, then I have more energy and get more done. But being aware of that then gives me that choice, rather than kind of sitting there going, blimey, I'm in a bad mood. And actually it's not down to anything other than the fact that I've eaten a ton of rubbish. Yeah, it can be easily done. But the trick is just to notice what certain foods or certain meals do for you in these areas and adjust accordingly. You wouldn't naturally think that a potential antidote to a lack of productivity and procrastination could be as simple as what you eat and drink. So it's something you have to consciously look for. So it's just something to think about. But in all of this, here we have a potential physiological problem masquerading as a mindset problem. Yikes! So how do you know which is which? Well, you can find out for yourself through trial and error and asking the right questions, self-coaching, reading the right books, creating awareness for yourself and being curious about what's potentially going on. Or you can speak to people doing what you're doing and to see if they've noticed any pattern in you. So this could be in a membership that you're in, a membership group or a mastermind group that you're currently in, friends and family who are close to you, biz besties, anybody who would kind of notice any of these kind of patterns. Or you can work with a professional to get to the bottom of it. So whether that's your GP, a coach or mentor in any of these areas, just someone who knows what they're looking for and can help you shine a light on it. Yeah, we all like to self-diagnose. Yeah, and it's easily done, but you can waste valuable time and energy focusing on the wrong thing by assuming you know what the cause is. Remember, the majority of this is unconscious. You don't know what you don't know. So it's time to stop beating ourselves up for all of these problems, in inverted commas again, that are part and parcel of doing this on your own. Having this level of awareness isn't the norm for most people, but you're not most people. So just know this, whatever the problem is, excuse me again, frogs in my throat, it is changeable, which is the fun part. So you're never as stuck as you think you are, as long as you ask the right questions. So get curious, use your journal to map some of these things out on a weekly basis so you can start to see those common patterns and start asking yourself the right questions, or booking a discovery call with me. So I've been doing these hour-long sessions. I get amazing business coaches refer their clients to me for when there's a little mindset or productivity problem. And I've never advertised them as a thing that I offer, because I always used to think to myself, there's only so much you can do in an hour. But this is the stuff that you can actually work out in an hour. So if you're keen and you want to know more, send me a DM, because I'm not actually actively promoting this. This is just exclusively from my poddies. So send me a DM, because genuinely some of the incredible things that you can work out in an hour, it's not going to fix all your problems in an hour, but just creating that awareness is quite often enough. So drop me a DM if you want to find out more and let me know. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. And as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.